MMA Boxing Talk here. I want to put out another video talking about Anthony Joshua versus Wladimir Klitschko. Just took place today. What a historic moment in heavyweight boxing history. It's been a very long time since we've seen this kind of action in the heavyweight division. The Klitschko brothers, they reigned for a long time, for over 10 years. And they, despite Klitschko having enough, or Wladimir having enough stoppages, and Vitaly too, but they just weren't exciting fighters. They really were much bigger than all of their opponents for the most part. They would, hold and grab you. But in their defense, they fought everyone available. It wasn't their fault that it was, a weaker era in the heavyweight division. But now we've got some players. Anthony Joshua beating Wladimir Klitschko in the manner that he did, the comeback that he did. Klitschko might have been 41 years old, but he still looked good in there. And he was hungry and, like he said, obsessed. He knew he had to come in and be aggressive. He knew he couldn't have the same fight he had like in the Tyson Fury fight. He had to have a totally different mindset, come out more hungry. I think he could have pulled the trigger a little more in this fight, but he probably thought the fight was in the bag, or pretty close to it. He was controlling most of those rounds, winning. I had him on my scorecards going into the 11th round. I had Klitschko up. I had him winning. But I want to talk about Anthony Joshua, his heart and determination. What he showed was just tremendous. In the 5th, 6th round, 7th round, he was totally done. Gas tank was totally done. He took some big, heavy, clean shots from Klitschko. Showed that he has a good chin, really good chin. He did get dropped in one of them by Klitschko, but it's not like Klitschko put his lights out. He got up fairly quickly, and he took a lot of other solid shots before and after that knockdown. He just showed the heart of a true champion, heart of a lion, and it's really nice to see because he's a knockout guy, and we've never really at the pro level we've never seen Anthony Joshua get into trouble, get dropped, and hit the canvas. We didn't know how he would react. To hang in there in the 5th and 6th and 7th round and 8th round, even when it was looking terrible, terrible for him. He just hung in there, mental toughness like you would not believe. So impressed by his performance to pull it out of the hat, pull it out of the bag like that in the 11th round. When, like I said in my post-fight video, I had to make another one. But, nobody thought, most people didn't think Joshua would get a late stoppage against Klitschko. I think it would either be an early knockout or they had Klitschko, winning a decision. Not too many people were picking Joshua by decision. But what he did was just spectacular. Historic moment in boxing history. And, passing of the guard. We have a new heavyweight king in the division. It's awesome for boxing. He's smart, articulate. He's an exciting fighter to follow. And I'm just impressed with him every step of the way. That's what fighting and what boxing and perseverance is all about. And, it showed sometimes, you have to have that dogfight. You have to have that war to really see what you're capable of as an athlete, as a competitor. You need to get tested. And a lot of people were saying, is this too early before this fight? Is this too early for Anthony Joshua fighting a guy like Wladimir Klitschko with the experience he has? And, Joshua only having 18 fights. Is it too early? And, if he would have lost that fight, that's what everyone would be saying after this fight. That's what it was, just too early for him, But he dug down deep and pulled it out. But so ecstatic, as you can tell. This is great. I think the whole boxing world is celebrating right now. Very happy. It's great for boxing. The heavyweight division's back. I mean, we have Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, possible opponents for Anthony Joshua. That could be next. Maybe not. There was word of Joshua getting stripped of one of his titles if he doesn't make a mandatory defense. I think the IBF. Let's hope he doesn't get stripped, because we want to see an undisputed champion have all 4 belts, and he's halfway there right now. So if he has to make a mandatory defense, so be it. But he's probably going to want to take some time off after this fight. I mean, that was a war, epic war. It's not too often when you get a matchup like this with the expectation so high, but not just expectation, a historic moment. 90,000, biggest fight in British boxing history, and it lived up to the hype, and some is just spectacular. It really is. I'm just so thrilled. I had to make another video. I mean, Joshua winning is great for boxing. The fans won. Everyone won. Klitschko, went out on his shield, and he gets a lot of respect from me. He's one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. He's right up there. And, Anthony Joshua still can improve tremendously from this. He's got to work on his cardio. He's got to work a little maybe on conserving his punches, picking his shots better, using his jab more. But, I mean, he pulled it out, and what a performance. Nothing else I can say. That's it for this one, though. If you liked the video, definitely subscribe. Check me out on Twitter at MMA Boxing Talk 1. And for anyone who's an MMA fan, UFC 211 is only 2 weeks away. Biggest UFC card of the year so far. Probably be the biggest card of the year, even by the end of 2017. I'll be putting out prediction videos for UFC 211 fights, so stay tuned for that. Definitely subscribe. That's it for this one. Peace.